The lights just went out. Your phone's dying. And you're about to discover if you're truly prepared or just another statistic waiting to happen. Last year alone, 1 in 4 American households faced a power outage. Most people think they're invincible until reality hits like a freight train. When the grid fails, everything you take for granted becomes your worst enemy. Your fully stocked refrigerator turns into a ticking time bomb of spoiled food. Your smart home becomes a useless shell. Even your garage door traps you inside like a prison. But here's what separates the prepared from the panicked. 8 critical items that most people completely overlook. These aren't your typical buy some flashlights suggestions. We're talking about the difference between thriving during a crisis and becoming another emergency room statistic. The average American family loses power for over 5 hours annually, and that number keeps climbing. Weather-related blackouts have increased by 67% since 2011. When Hurricane Ian slammed into Florida, people were literally drinking from contaminated puddles because they never considered water storage. During the Texas freeze, families burned furniture to survive because they had no backup heating plan. Let's dive into the 8 preps that will keep your family safe, fed, and comfortable while your neighbors are losing their minds in the dark. Number 1. Cash and critical documents. Your financial lifeline. Here's a reality check that'll make your jaw drop. During Hurricane Ian, people with thousands in their bank accounts couldn't buy a single bottle of water. Why? Because our entire payment system runs on electricity. When the power dies, credit cards become worthless plastic. ATMs turn into expensive paperweights. Even those fancy contactless payments on your phone are absolutely useless. The Federal Reserve discovered that most Americans carry less than $50 in actual cash. $50. We've become so dependent on digital payments that we've forgotten the most reliable backup system in human history. During the 2018 Visa outage, millions of people were stranded at gas stations, unable to pay for fuel to evacuate disaster areas. Construction crews accidentally cutting fiber cables have left entire cities unable to process any electronic payments for days. Your Platinum credit card means nothing when the machines are dead. You need a minimum of $300 to $500 in cash, but here's the crucial part: it must be in small bills. 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s, not hundreds. During emergencies, nobody can make change. Store owners are dealing with their own chaos and won't break large bills for small purchases. I learned this lesson during a week-long outage when I had $200 bills, but couldn't buy anything because no one had change. Keep this emergency cash in a waterproof, fireproof document bag, along with physical copies of your driver's license, insurance cards, medical information, and prescriptions. And here's something most people never consider: print out your emergency contact list. When your phone dies, you won't remember anyone's number. We've all become helplessly dependent on our contact lists. Also, download offline maps of your area right now, before disaster strikes. Screenshot important documents and medical information, because when cell towers fail, you'll still have access to crucial data. Keep cash in multiple locations: your home, car, workplace, and with trusted family members. During widespread emergencies, you might not reach your house for days. Cash isn't just for supplies either. You might need to tip essential workers risking their lives, pay for emergency transportation, or hire someone to help evacuate when official systems fail. Number 2. Water storage and purification, the silent killer. Water is life, but it's also the most underestimated prep that sends people to emergency rooms faster than anything else. During Hurricane Ian, people posted videos of themselves drinking from muddy, contaminated puddles. Not because they were stupid, but because they never thought about water storage. Here's the terrifying truth about power outages. When electricity dies, your water supply often dies with it. No power means no water pumps. No water pumps means bone-dry taps within hours. I've witnessed entire neighborhoods with flashlights and batteries who were completely screwed because they had zero water stored. Think about your morning routine right now. You brush your teeth, wash your face, make coffee, take a shower. When the power's out, you can't do any of that. You can't brush your teeth, wash your hands after using the bathroom, cook anything requiring water, or if you're on a well system like millions of Americans, you can't even flush your toilet. Your house becomes unlivable fast. The government recommends 1 gallon per person per day for drinking, but that's pure survival mode. For a family of 4, that's 12 gallons minimum for 3 days. But here's where it gets worse. That gallon doesn't cover cooking, cleaning, or hygiene. You really need 2 gallons per person per day to maintain any comfort and health. And don't forget your pets. During the Texas freeze, families shared their last bottle of water with their pets while kids went thirsty. Don't put yourself in that impossible situation. Start simple. Fill every container in your house right now. Pots, pitchers, mason jars, even clean garbage cans. If a storm's approaching, fill your bathtub. That's 40 to 50 gallons right there. For serious preparation, invest in proper water storage barrels or blue 5-gallon containers from camping stores. Stack them in your garage or basement. But here's the next level most people miss: water purification. Recent emergency management reports show that even when people find water sources during outages, they get sick because they can't purify them safely. Keep water purification tablets, quality water filters, or UV sterilization pens. Finding water and making it safe to drink are 2 completely different problems. Pro tip from emergency responders: rotate your stored water every 6 months. Write dates on everything. Old stored water tastes terrible and can make you sick. Set phone reminders twice a year to refresh your supply. It takes 30 minutes and could save your family's life. Dehydration kills people fast. 3 days without water and you're in serious medical trouble. During Hurricane Katrina, people died not from the storm, but from dehydration afterwards. During California wildfires, families got trapped with no water for days. These aren't movie scenarios. This is real life happening to regular families who thought it couldn't happen to them. Number 3, alternative lighting and communication. Your lifeline to safety. Complete darkness is terrifying, but being cut off from communication during an emergency is deadly. Sarah's 3-year-old tumbled down the stairs at 2 a.m. during a blackout last month. Her neighbor pounded frantically on her door, desperate for help. But nobody had working flashlights, everyone's phones were dead, and there was absolutely no way to communicate with emergency services. This exact nightmare played out thousands of times during the Texas winter storm. Entire families trapped in freezing darkness for days with no way to reach 911, no clue when power would return, and no idea if help was coming. People literally chose between burning furniture for warmth or freezing to death because they couldn't see what they were doing. The Department of Homeland Security now insists you need 1 flashlight for every person in your house. Not 1 family flashlight everyone fights over. 1 per person, including kids. When panic hits and adrenaline starts pumping, people naturally scatter in different directions. You cannot have anyone stumbling around blind with stairs, sharp corners, or potentially scattered glass around. But here's what's revolutionized emergency lighting in 2025. Solar-powered emergency radios and hand-crank communication devices that literally never run out of power. You charge them during daylight hours and they'll work all night, giving you weather updates, emergency broadcasts, and sometimes even cell phone charging capability. Here's something that'll blow your mind about battery storage. Most people unknowingly destroy their emergency batteries before using them. Hot garages kill batteries within months. Cold basements drain them slowly. Even slight humidity corrodes contacts and makes them worthless. The only safe storage is room temperature, bone-dry locations. Discovering your emergency batteries are dead when you desperately need them is worse than having no batteries at all. It gives false confidence that turns into crushing despair. Real emergency veterans keep headlamps instead of handheld flashlights because you need both hands free during emergencies. They test every battery monthly, not yearly. They keep backup communication methods most people never consider, like old-fashioned battery-powered AM/FM radios that pick up emergency broadcasts from hundreds of miles away when local stations go dark. During Hurricane Sandy, our neighborhood went dark for 8 days straight. Families with proper lighting and communication gear became unofficial neighborhood command centers. Everyone else was knocking on their doors asking for help, information, or basic human contact. Don't be the family desperately knocking. Be the family others can count on. Number 4, non-perishable food supply beyond survival mode. Day 3 of the February 2021. Texas freeze, my neighbor Karen stood in my driveway crying, holding her 2 kids, telling me they'd been eating stale crackers and ketchup packets for dinner. Like most families, she had a fridge full of fresh food that spoiled the moment power died. Grocery stores were cleaned out or closed, Gas stations couldn't pump fuel without electricity. She thought 3 days of Pop-Tarts would be enough. She was dead wrong. Here's brutal truth emergency experts don't advertise. When disaster strikes, you have maybe 6 hours before panic buying empties every store shelf. Most grocery stores only keep 3 days of inventory during normal times. Add a crisis, and those shelves go bare within hours. Even if stores stay open, their entire refrigerated and frozen sections become worthless chunks of spoiled food. I learned this during Hurricane Sandy. We thought we were smart with tons of food, but it was all frozen or needed cooking. Frozen pizzas, ice cream, fresh vegetables, completely useless. We ate cold Chef Boyardee straight from cans like animals because we didn't even have a manual can opener. You need minimum 3 days of non-perishable food per person, but honestly, aim for 2 full weeks if possible. I'm talking real food here. Peanut butter, whole grain crackers, canned soups that taste good cold, protein bars, dried fruits, nuts, and instant oatmeal. Not just survival food, but stuff your kids will actually eat when they're already stressed and scared. Here's the detail that separates prepared from panicked. You absolutely must have a manual can opener. I've watched grown adults nearly have nervous breakdowns because they had dozens of cans but couldn't open a single one when their electric opener became useless metal. Also keep a manual bottle opener for drinks and condiments. But here's where it gets really serious. Medications and special dietary needs. If someone in your family is diabetic, has severe allergies, or takes medication requiring refrigeration like insulin, you need backup plans that could literally mean life or death. Studies show that during extended outages, medication-related emergencies spike by over 300%. Have backup supplies, know which medications handle temperature changes, and keep emergency doctor contact numbers written on paper. Something most people never consider. Comfort food matters more than you think. During 2024 California wildfires, families reported that having familiar snacks and treats helped keep kids calm and gave everyone psychological boost when everything else felt chaotic. Pack some chocolate, favorite crackers, or whatever makes your family feel normal. Store everything in airtight containers away from pests. Rotate stock every 6 months using the first in, first out method. Check expiration dates regularly. Keep a detailed inventory list so you know exactly what you have when stress levels are high and thinking clearly becomes difficult. Number 5. Backup heating and cooling methods, the silent killer. Let's talk about what kills more people during power outages than you'd ever imagine. Trying to stay warm or cool. Last year, after Hurricane Beryl knocked out power for millions in Texas, someone died from carbon monoxide poisoning as people turned to generators. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. About 2,300 people in the United States died in summer 2023 with death certificates mentioning excessive heat effects, the highest in 45 years of records. Experts say that's just a fraction of the real death toll. Meanwhile, portable generators cause about 70 deaths annually, making them more dangerous than most devices consumers can buy. Your iPhone is literally safer than the generator in your garage. David, a 73-year-old in Arizona, went outside to hang laundry during a 108-degree heat wave. His family found him collapsed, his lower body burned from scorching concrete. His core temperature reached 107 degrees when he got to the hospital. He died because he didn't have proper cooling backup when routine tasks became death traps. When people get desperate from heat or cold, they make fatal mistakes. One small generator emits as much carbon monoxide as hundreds of cars combined, invisible, odorless poison that kills entire families in minutes. During major outages, carbon monoxide poisoning risk increases by 930%. Among children 18 and younger, it increases by 1,350%. There was a Houston family who'd used generators safely for years, survived hurricanes and winter storms. They thought they knew what they were doing. During one outage, they moved their generator slightly too close to the house. One mistake, one night of desperation, and it nearly killed them all. Summer outages are becoming death sentences. A power outage combined with heat waves in Phoenix could kill around 13,000 people and send half the population to emergency rooms. In Atlanta, Detroit, and Phoenix, between 68% and 100% of populations would face elevated heat exhaustion or heat stroke risk during combined blackouts and heat waves. People literally cook to death in their own homes. Without air conditioning, indoor temperatures can be much higher than outdoors, especially at night. continuing for days after heat waves. Your house becomes an oven. Among New Yorkers who died from heat with air conditioning information available, none had or were using AC. Even electric fans aren't enough. About a third of people exposed to dangerous heat at home had electric fans present and on, indicating fans without AC cannot always prevent fatal heat exposure. So what do you do instead? Forget everything you think you know about staying warm or cool. For heating, layer like your life depends on it, because it does. Get quality sleeping bags rated for cold temperatures, not just blankets. Emergency Mylar blankets reflect 90% of body heat back to you and cost $3 each. Stock up on hand warmers that activate when opened. They last hours and can save fingers and toes. For cooling, battery-powered fans are game changers, but get ones with multiple speed settings and long battery life. Use wet towels around your neck and wrists where blood vessels are closest to skin. Freeze water bottles before storms and use them as personal cooling packs. If you absolutely must use a generator, place it more than 20 feet from any window or door with exhaust pointed away from your building. I don't care if it's raining, snowing, or you're worried about theft. 20 feet minimum, or you're risking carbon monoxide poisoning that kills in your sleep. Never run generators in garages, basements, or anywhere near your house. Never use gas stoves or ovens to heat homes. People die every winter trying this. For heat emergencies, your priority is cooling core body temperature. Fill your bathtub with cool water before power goes out. Wet sheets and clothing drop body temperature fast. No heat exhaustion signs: heavy sweating, weakness, nausea, headache. Heat stroke is when sweating stops and confusion starts. That's a medical emergency. For winter outages, think layers and body heat conservation. Wool retains warmth when wet. Down loses all insulating power when wet, so keep it dry. Huddle together in one room. Shared body heat keeps small spaces warm for hours. Block drafts with towels and blankets. Your body heat is your best heating source when used correctly. Number 6. Portable power solutions, your digital lifeline. 3 hours into a blackout, your phone hits that terrifying 5%. You know that instant panic when you realize you're about to be completely cut off from the world. No way to call for help, no flashlight, no connection to family. This happened to thousands during the massive Texas freeze when people literally used their cars to charge phones because they had nothing else. A good power bank is like having a lifeline in your pocket, but most people buy tiny 5,000 milliamp things that barely give one charge. That's not going to cut it when you're looking at hours or days without power. You want at least 10,000 to 20,000 milliamps, the kind that can charge your phone 3, 4, maybe 5 times. Here's what's crazy cool about 2025. These new power banks charge at 65 watts now. Your phone goes from dead to 50% in 15 minutes. It's insane. But if you really want to be prepared, bigger portable power stations are game changers. We're talking units that can run your fridge, charge laptops, and even power medical equipment. Some new ones from EcoFlow and Anchor are basically generators without noise and fumes. Pro tip that saved me last winter: don't just have one power bank. Have 3 or 4 smaller ones scattered around, one in your car, one in your emergency kit, one by your bed. Because when power goes out at 2 a.m., you don't want to hunt around in darkness trying to find the one power bank you forgot to charge 3 months ago. But here's what most people get wrong about portable power: they focus only on phones. Think bigger. During extended outages, you might need to power medical devices like CPAP machines, nebulizers, or insulin pumps. Some families depend on powered wheelchairs or communication devices. A good power station can literally be the difference between life and death for people with medical conditions. Modern power stations come with multiple outlet types: AC outlets for larger devices, USB ports for phones and tablets, 12-volt outlets for car accessories, and even wireless charging pads. Some have built-in LED lights that can illuminate entire rooms. The newer models include solar panel inputs, so you can recharge them during the day even when grid power is down for weeks. Here's something crucial about battery maintenance. Extreme temperatures kill battery capacity. Don't store power banks in hot garages or freezing sheds. Keep them at room temperature and check charge levels monthly. Lithium batteries slowly discharge even when not in use, and completely dead batteries can become permanently damaged. Consider investing in solar panels specifically designed for emergency charging. Portable solar panels can keep your power stations topped off during extended outages. Some fold down to briefcase size but can generate enough power to run essential devices indefinitely as long as you have sunlight. Number 7. Emergency shelter and warmth. Your survival core. Your home might seem like the safest place during a power outage, but when heating systems fail and temperatures drop, even the most comfortable house can become a death trap. During the Texas freeze, people literally burned furniture to survive because they had no backup plan for staying warm when their heating systems failed. Here's what most people don't understand about hypothermia. It doesn't just happen in freezing temperatures. You can develop hypothermia in 50-degree weather if you're wet, tired, and have no way to warm up. Your body temperature only needs to drop a few degrees before your thinking becomes clouded and decision-making becomes impaired. That's when people make the fatal mistakes that end up on the evening news. Emergency blankets and sleeping gear aren't just about comfort. They're about survival. But not all emergency gear is created equal. Those cheap Mylar space blankets you see everywhere? They're great for reflecting body heat, but they're also incredibly fragile and loud. One small tear and they're useless. They also don't breathe at all, so you can end up soaking wet from condensation. Invest in quality emergency sleeping bags rated for temperatures at least 20 degrees colder than your area's record low. Down sleeping bags offer the best warmth-to-weight ratio but become useless when wet. Synthetic fill sleeping bags are heavier but retain insulating properties even when damp. For most emergency situations, synthetic is the better choice. Here's a game-changing strategy most people never consider. Create a designated warm room in your house during winter outages. Choose the smallest room that can accommodate your family, preferably on an upper floor since heat rises. Use thick blankets and towels to block drafts around windows and doors. Everyone's body heat in a small, insulated space can keep temperatures comfortable for hours even when it's freezing outside. Layer your clothing like your life depends on it because it might. Base layers should be moisture-wicking materials like merino wool or synthetic blends, never cotton, which kills when wet. Insulating layers trap warm air. Fleece, down, or synthetic insulation. Outer layers protect from wind and moisture. Don't forget extremities. Quality hats, gloves, and warm socks are crucial because you lose tremendous heat through your head, hands, and feet. Keep hand and foot warmers in your emergency kit. The chemical kind that activate when you open them can provide hours of heat and literally save fingers and toes from frostbite. They're cheap, last for years when stored properly, and can be lifesavers during extended cold weather outages. For summer outages, emergency shelter becomes about cooling and sun protection. Reflective tarps can block solar heat from entering your house through windows. Battery-powered fans can create air circulation. Cooling towels that activate with water can drop your body temperature when wet and placed around your neck or wrists. Number 8. Community preparedness and neighborhood networks, your hidden strength. Here's something that separates survivors from statistics: your neighbors. During every major disaster, the people who fare best aren't the ones with the most supplies. They're the ones with the strongest community connections. When Hurricane Katrina hit, neighbors saving neighbors was often the difference between life and death because official help took days or weeks to arrive. But building community resilience starts long before disaster strikes. Right now, do you know which neighbors have medical training? Who has a generator? Who might need extra help during emergencies? That elderly lady next door might have medications requiring refrigeration. Your neighbor with the pickup truck might be the person who saves your family when your car won't start in freezing weather. Start simple. Introduce yourself to immediate neighbors if you haven't already. Exchange phone numbers and basic emergency contact information. Find out who has useful skills. Retired nurses, mechanics, electricians, or contractors whose expertise becomes invaluable when professional help isn't available. Create a simple neighborhood communication plan for emergencies. Consider organizing neighborhood emergency preparedness meetings. You don't need to be overly formal about it. Just gathering neighbors to discuss basic emergency plans, share resources, and identify potential challenges. Some neighborhoods create shared emergency supply caches or coordinate purchases to get bulk discounts on emergency supplies. During power outages, neighborhoods that work together fare significantly better than those where everyone isolates. Shared generators can power multiple homes in rotation. Neighbors can take turns monitoring elderly or disabled residents. Families can combine resources to create larger, more efficient cooking and heating setups. Children handle emergencies better when they're part of a larger, supportive community rather than isolated with stressed parents. Here's something that happens during every major disaster. Certain houses become unofficial community centers. These are usually homes with generators, good communication equipment, or residents with emergency training. People naturally gravitate toward these locations for information, assistance, and social support. You want your home to be one of these community anchors, not just for altruistic reasons, but because community leaders get priority access to information and resources. Don't forget about community members with special needs, elderly neighbors, families with young children, people with disabilities, or those with medical conditions requiring powered equipment. During emergencies, checking on these vulnerable community members isn't just the right thing to do. It creates social bonds that benefit everyone during future crises. Some neighborhoods organize emergency communication networks using ham radios or other communication methods that work when cell towers fail. Others create neighborhood watch systems that naturally extend into emergency preparedness. The key is starting these relationships and systems before you need them, because trying to organize community response during an active emergency is nearly impossible. The next power outage isn't a question of if, it's when. Between 2024 and 2028, an estimated 300 million Americans could face power outages. Climate change is making weather more extreme, our infrastructure is aging, and our dependence on electricity is greater than ever before. But here's the thing about emergency preparedness. It's not about living in fear or becoming a survivalist hermit. It's about taking reasonable steps now so that when challenges arise, you and your family can remain comfortable, safe, and even helpful to others in your community. Start with just one item today. Buy that power bank, grab extra batteries, or pick up emergency blankets. Your future self will thank you, and your family will be grateful you took the time to prepare. Every small step you take now multiplies your family's safety and peace of mind when the lights go out. If this video helped you think differently about emergency preparedness, hit that like button and subscribe for more life-saving tips. And remember, the best emergency supplies are the ones you have before you need them. Stay prepared, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.